For thousands of years, every civilization, every religion, and every heart has asked the same unanswerable question: what happens to us when we die? But for the first time in human history, science is no longer whispering guesses. It is attempting to build the answer. Imagine a future where your memories don't fade, your voice never goes silent, and your identity continues to grow long after your heart stops beating. Imagine closing your eyes in one lifetime and opening them again inside a machine. This is the frontier known as digital immortality. This is NextCore AI, your cinematic guide to the worlds where science meets the impossible. And what if the afterlife is something we engineer? Subscribe to NextCore AI and turn on notifications. The quest to defeat death. Since the dawn of consciousness, humans have feared the quiet nothingness that waits at the end of life. We built myths, religions, rituals, and entire cultures around the attempt to escape oblivion. But today, the question is shifting from spiritual to scientific. In labs illuminated not by candlelight, but by cold blue LEDs, engineers and neuroscientists are asking if the essence of a human, memories, identity, personality, behavior, can be captured and preserved like information on a drive. And more importantly, whether that preserved version can live forever. The spark of the idea. The roots of mind uploading stretch back to the 1960s when MIT's Marvin Minsky proposed a revolutionary idea that the mind is not an object, but a pattern of information, a moving structure of electrical and chemical signals, inside silicon rather than biology. That idea was too futuristic for its time, but today it has become the blueprint behind connectome mapping, neural interfaces, and computational neuroscience. The world's most advanced research labs are slicing microscopic sections of brain tissue, the science of self. To upload a mind, 3 monumental scientific challenges must be overcome. Capturing all 86 billion neurons and roughly 100 trillion synaptic connections that define your identity. Scientists at MIT, Harvard, and the Allen Institute are scanning slivers of mouse brains thinner than dust to reconstruct them in full 3D, creating neural maps that look like cosmic webs of electricity. Second is encoding, figuring out not only the wiring but the signals themselves, the chemicals, rhythms, and firing patterns that create a memory. And finally is emulation, the ability to translate this captured pattern into runnable software on hardware powerful enough to behave like a living mind. The rise of digital afterlife companies. While scientists attempt to map neurons, tech entrepreneurs are racing to map you. Startups like EterniMe, HereAfter AI, and Rememory are building systems that preserve a person's voice, mannerisms, stories, and emotional patterns. By training AI models on years of conversations, videos, texts, and recordings, these companies can generate digital personalities that respond like the real person. Families already speak with AI versions of loved ones who have passed, hearing familiar voices say familiar phrases in familiar tones. It isn't resurrection, but it is resonance, a statistical ghost built from every digital footprint you've ever left behind. The philosophical fault line. Mind uploading forces us to confront the most unsettling question in modern philosophy. Is consciousness simply data, or is it the feeling of experiencing that data? If a perfect digital copy of your mind exists, the difference is enormous, and yet science has no measurement for consciousness, only behavior. Some argue that if a digital replica behaves like you, responds like you, and remembers like you, others argue that no matter how perfect the copy, the you experiencing these thoughts is still bound to your biological brain. The economic race for eternal life. Immortality is no longer a myth, it is becoming a market. The idea that a person can be preserved as data opens an entirely new economic frontier, the post-human economy. Corporations foresee a future in which people pay subscriptions to maintain their digital selves. Your AI twin could continue working after your biological body dies, generating income, creating content, running businesses, or managing your digital estate. Imagine renting out your digital personality for tasks, contracts, or creative projects. If intelligence becomes software, then even death becomes a temporary outage. The first immortal files on hard drives and unmarked data centers. Thousands of early digital selves already exist. They take the form of AI chatbots trained on the personalities of loved ones, artists whose creative styles were captured before they died, and scientists whose decision-making trees were preserved for future generations. These digital fragments aren't truly alive, but they persist. They speak, respond, remember, and evolve through interaction. They don't breathe or dream, but they continue in a way humans never could. They're the first generation of immortal files, early echoes of people who refuse to disappear. The continuity paradox. If a digital replica of you wakes up in silicon, is that actually you? This is the continuity paradox. If your mind is copied, your memories survive, but your awareness does not transfer. The original you still ends when your brain ends. Immortality through copying may preserve your pattern, but not your experience. Who owns forever? If your mind becomes data, who controls it? A corporation? Your family? The government? Digital immortality creates problems humanity has never faced before. Can someone alter your digital personality to remove painful memories? When identity becomes software, it becomes vulnerable to manipulation and to ownership. The decay of digital souls. Even if your mind is uploaded, it may not last forever. Servers degrade. Computers fail. Data formats become obsolete. Over time, the digital you may glitch, lose memories, degrade into fragments, or become incompatible with new technologies. Scientists call this information entropy, the slow erosion of stored data. When AI remembers you better than you do, AI systems already remember every photo you post. Over time, these digital versions may become preferred companions, easier to talk to. When that happens, the digital self may overshadow the human one. The ethics of eternity. Should humans live forever? Philosophers argue that death is not just an end. It is a boundary that gives life meaning. Without endings, stories stretch into monotony. Without loss, love loses urgency. If immortality becomes ordinary, will memory still matter? Will experiences still change us? Will life still feel precious? Some ethicists propose a new concept, digital dignity, the right to be remembered the way you choose, and the right to disappear when you wish. Immortality might not be measured in years lived, but in meaning created. Not infinite existence, but purposeful existence. The human afterlife. Perhaps the real afterlife is not in machines, but in meaning. Humans already live beyond death through stories, art, ideas, and the people they've influenced. The digital age amplifies that power. A single video, a message, a creation can outlive its creator by centuries. Our digital footprints are already a kind of immortality. We are the first species capable of engineering our own afterlife, and the last generation who gets to decide what that afterlife will be. This is NextCore AI, your guide to the horizons where humanity evolves beyond its limits. If this film reshaped the way you think about life, death, and identity, subscribe to NextCore AI and turn on notifications.